So today I wanted to expand on my video on the 5 things that you need to do, if you want to become a multimillionaire, or broaden your wealth regardless of your income. If you drop out of high school, just graduated from high school, graduated from college, got a professional degree. Obviously, if you got a professional degree and you dropped out of high school, it's going to be easier to save up and to become a millionaire. But no matter what you do, you still can become a millionaire. And the first item, the 5 items is working, saving, retraining, live below your means, and find passive income. We're going to talk about the first one being work. So again, if you didn't graduate high school or you graduated with a professional degree, you have to work. And as I thought about talking about this subject of working and expanding on it from my original video, I just automatically, you would think that everybody think that or understand that you have to work. But I realize that it's just so many people who don't want to work. And I just can't understand how you think you're going to get to where you need to be without working. Now let's state the main objective of everything that I talk about in this videos of economic messages of the Father to Son is we want to be able to get to financial independence or freedom. I call it freedom in America. And the only way to get to freedom is to have wealth to where you can control your time. And the only way to really control your time is money. So if you're working, you're on somebody else's time. But everyone has to start from somewhere. If your parents are not wealthy, you're not automatically independent wealthy. You have to start from somewhere, and that may require you to work. And the harder you work while you're younger, the less you may have to work as you get older. And ultimately, it's one to get to financial independence. So as I was saying, as I thought about this video and working, and I thought about the number of people just who I grew up with who never really worked. They never really worked. And I'm saying you have to work as much as you possibly can, and depending on the income that you have, you might have to have a second job. Luckily, we're in today's age, we got Uber, we got Lyft, we got DoorDash, we got so you can have a job, and then you can have a second job that can control your flexibility to have work. But I wanted to just use one example of how you need to work. Let's say the people that don't work obviously have someone that's somehow taking care of them where they don't have to work. So let's just suppose for a moment you don't work and you have someone that makes $100,000 a year. So and we talk about it in later videos. We want to live below our means. So let's say that person's making $100,000 a year. You're not working, and you're living below your means. So you're making $80,000. You're living off $80,000 at $100,000, and you're putting away that $20,000. Let's just suppose for a minute you went out and worked and decided, and you made $30,000 a year. Not working. I guess you're sitting at home. You're doing something. I don't know what it is, but even if you're sitting at home, you probably could be doing something that can provide some income. So if you're working or doing whatever and you're making $30,000, or instead of $100,000 that the person that was assisting you, and now you're bringing in $100,000, $130,000. But we're not going to increase our income, increase our standard of living. We're going to keep our standard of living the same, but instead of saving $20,000 a year, we're now saving $50,000, living off $80,000. We could take that $50,000 and we can put that towards passive income. Let's take that over a 5-year period. You may not think about it, but even if all our income stayed the same, which we know we don't want to do, we want to increase that through retraining or some type of passive income. But in 5 years, that $50,000 a year could be $250,000 a year, and at that point, you can make some type of substantial investment. As I said, a Dairy Queen costs $400,000 a year. You're over 66% towards that $400,000 to make a substantial income to owning a franchise. So with that being said, I hope that kind of clarified. We all have to work And then we might need to work a little bit harder depending on how much income we have and how far we want to get. But deep down inside, I believe that you can start off, working at a McDonald's. You're working 40 hours a week. Go work 20 hours a week somewhere else. You can easily bring in over $30,000 a year, what can add to that person that's bringing in over $100,000 a year. Those are just examples. There's a lot of examples out there that we could talk about. There's people that make more than $100,000 a year. There's people that make less than $100,000 a year. But regardless of where you're at in life, you can become a millionaire or a multimillionaire by following these 5 steps. And the one starting off with, you have to be able to work.